the silence, fighting battles on my own. Every tear felt like a secret, every night felt so alone. But you spoke into the darkness, said just hold on, don't let go. Even when I couldn't see it, you were guiding my soul. Now I'm breathing, now I see you were there through everything. I made it up, I made it. Look at me now, look at me now. You counted me out. You threw stones in my window pane, tried to make me wear your pain, counted me out, called my name in vain. But I got power in these veins. Every tear became a river, every scar made me bigger. I was down but not defeated, now my soul cannot be weak. You thought you'd break me, take me out, but look who's standing taller now. I found my fire, I found my shout. You thought you'd break me, look at me now. Thought you break me, look at me now. Look at me now. Came from the ashes, built from the pain. Walked through the fire, danced in the rain. Tried to shut me down, still I remain. Pressure made diamonds, remember the name. You was talking like the end was near. Now I'm front row, crystal clear. What broke me then brought purpose here. I don't bow down. Look at me now. Look at me now. You counted me out. You threw stones in my window pane, tried to make me wear your pain, counted me out, called my name in vain. But I got power in these veins. Every tear became a river, every scar made me bigger. I was down but not defeated, now my soul cannot be weak. You thought you'd break me, take me out, but look who's standing taller now. I found my fire, I found my shout. You thought you'd break me, look at me now. I rise higher, no more doubt. Heaven turned my life around. I got strength you can't dim now. You thought you'd break me, look at me now. Look at me now. Came from the ashes, built from the pain. Walked through the fire, danced in the rain. Tried to shut me down, still I remain. Pressure made diamonds, remember the name. You was talking like the end was near. Now I'm front row, crystal clear. What broke me then brought purpose here. I don't bow down.
Hello, welcome. How's everybody? Welcome. Getting started here. I hope everybody having a good one. We're gonna have a little bit of serious talk, but y'all know I don't like to get too deep with it, you know. But tonight I want to talk about something that's been pressing lately. Whoa, this is some good stuff in here. So I want to talk about that, not heavy talk, but realistic talk about some of the things that we deal with in the human experience, especially as business owners, entrepreneurs. We always want to make sure that we are keeping our mind focused on business, but real life happens, right? Just like any other time. And I think it can be more, even more noticeable, real life happening, when real life is happening while you're trying to run a business. Okay, so we're going to get started in just a moment.
Look at me now. Look at me now. You counted me out. Yeah. Yeah. You threw stones at my window pane. Tried to make me wear your pain. Counted me out, called my name in vain. But I got power in these veins. Yeah. Every tear became a river. Every scar made me bigger. I was down but not defeated. Now my soul cannot be weak. Yeah. You thought you'd break me, take me out. But look who's standing taller now. I found my fire, I found my shout. You thought you'd break me, look at me now. I rise higher, no more doubt. Heaven turned my life around. I got strength you can't dim now. You thought you'd break me, look at me now. Look at me now. Came from the ashes, built from the pain. Walked through the fire, danced in the rain. Tried to shut me down, still I remain. Pressure made diamonds, remember the name. You was talking like the end was near. Now I'm front row, crystal clear. What broke me then brought purpose here. I don't bow down.
Hey. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Listen, I want to talk about the human experience a little bit here. I want to talk about something that we don't talk about. And that is looking at things from angles and not from a judgment clouded place. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm looking at my activity log, y'all, and somebody just showed me how to look at this the other day. So I'm just trying to pull up the video that had popped up a few minutes ago and what really prompted this. Matter of fact, I probably could do it better here. I might could do it from here because I don't know why. It's going like super slow. Hold on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this up. How are you all doing this evening? I hope everybody's having a good evening. I'm going to dive into it. I have something very important that I want to discuss tonight. So whether you watch it now or on the replay, it's okay. This is something that I think we need to discuss. Okay. How do I find my view? They showed me how to look at my, oh, here we go. Stuff that I looked at, like view, it's called watch history. Search videos you searched for. They showed me. This helped me so much because I'm like, I know the other day, I'm like, I really don't go to people's pages. And it wasn't until, oh, here it is. They showed me. Okay, this is what came up. I got it. I found it. They showed me how to find my watch history. I'm like, I know. That's what I'm saying. I never go to people's pages. I just hardly ever do it if they don't show up in my feed. And I'm not on Facebook that much. I usually plan my content out on Facebook. All right, so this is what came up. Let me know. Hey, Coach Yvonne, let me know if you can hear this. If y'all will, let me know in the chats if you can hear this. Hey,
if it took a group effort to try to take you down, you should be flattered, my friend. All right, one of them wasn't enough. They weren't powerful. No, they needed a whole group to go against you. And in my experience, whenever there's a group going against one person, that one person is almost always right. If it took a group effort to try to take you down, you should be flattered, my friend.
Can you hear
it?
All
right, one of them wasn't enough.
If y'all able to hear it, put a 1. Can y'all actually hear what he's saying? If it takes it. This popped up on my timeline line earlier. Just let me know in the chat so you can hear it. Okay, then I'm just gonna go on TikTok. This is not my niche. This is not what I have searched for, but I feel like that AI, for some reason, I feel like AI can like just know what we're talking about. Good afternoon. Oh, you can't hear me. Okay. So I'm gonna go on my page, and this is what happens. So stuff like this pops up.
Acting like they were the one who stopped caring first. The moment a narcissist realizes you're not chasing.
Now, this is not my niche. I haven't checked. I haven't engaged with. But I just want y'all to hear the stuff that pops out on my timeline. And so that was one of the videos that you just heard. And it was literally that two people or more go against you. And typically when that happens, that means that you are right. I want to dissect that conversation. I want to talk about that, okay? So this is the one that came up. I'm gonna let y'all hear it one more time.
One of them wasn't enough. They weren't powerful. No, they needed a whole group to go against you. And in my experience, whenever there's a group going against one person, that one person is almost always right. If it took a group effort to try to take you down, you should.
How many of you have ever experienced something like that in your life where you felt like, man, you were being attacked by more than one person and you were just trying to understand like really what is going on here? I haven't done anything to anybody. Why are people attacking me? So I want to talk about something that I was talking about to somebody about a month ago. And I said, I need you to understand this. And I'm not a therapist, not a psychologist, took child psychology, watched a lot of young people communicate as I was an educator. But again, the dynamics of what we had to do in the classroom. Okay, you said yes, so you understand. I want to talk about it, okay? And I want to talk about how that possibly happens, because I want to look at things. This is what's always helped me to heal and to get over really painful situations where the human behaviors really, me as an empath, and I don't know if y'all know what that means, is a person who feels things on a very deep level. I pick up on things intuitively a lot easier than a lot of people. So if I go in a room, I can read that room. That's why I have such a good rapport with my students. I never got complaints from parents. It is because I literally figured out how to pay attention to people's body language. That's why being in front of somebody is so important for me. I've never been able to go to funerals. The reason why, I am sick for weeks, months at times, because I pick up on all of the on live. And I pick up so much of that energy. So here's what I want to discuss right now. I want us to look at it from a different angle, if that's okay. I want us to think about it from not you got to have control, but that you more so want to understand. Does that make sense? Like you want to understand more about how this happens, why it happens, so that you can grow, so that you can become a better person. And I want to become a better person. I don't want to become worse as I get older. How many of you are okay with accepting if you are wrong? If you can accept when you're, sorry, y'all, let me cut that down. If you are a person who can accept when you're wrong, put me up in the comments. Because some people have challenges accepting when they're wrong. When you teach, you just can't be like that. Because you make mistakes. Sometimes you'll add something wrong. You'll subtract something wrong. Your numbers will be off and the students will tell you. And then you can only say, oh, I was just testing y'all so many times. But you know, sometimes we have to be able to accept when we're wrong. We're not always right. I'm not always right. I don't want to always be right. I don't want to know it all. I only want to grow in this life and to get to a place to where when it's time for me to leave this old world behind, I feel like I've made a positive contribution to the world. So being able to accept when you're wrong is important. And I don't think that I'm right all the time. So I want to preface by saying that. And I want to talk about when you feel like it's 2 against 1. Let's talk about this, because here's what I noticed when my kids were young on the playground. They would be out there playing, and then 2 kids would be having conflict, but we would actually have to observe situations, not just get in and work on it. So I want to talk about how this happens in families, churches, businesses, relationships, in anything where people feel threatened. The principle is that human beings, they are wired for group survival, not individual truth. So you could be telling you could be straight telling the truth. And it could be your siblings and your parent, and it could be the church people. It could be any group of people. But guess what? At the end of the day, if you are the person who is causing discomfort in that atmosphere, you could become a threat to the structure overall. Does that make sense? And I've seen this in the classroom over and over as a teacher. If it's a student or a parent who's threatening, and people don't have to talk about what they're going to do to you. They just going to do it together because it's understood that you're a threat. Do y'all remember what understood means? Y'all remember that word? Understood. Yeah. Understood means that it's something that you don't have to say out loud, but people just know in their mind. All right. So we teach that in English when it's like you is understood. If I say, if it's 2 people in a room and I say, give me the lotion, it's understood that I'm talking to that person. So I don't have to say, hey, you give me the lotion. It's understood. So what that means is that, unfortunately, in some instances, even if it's your family, if you're the perceived threat to that group, they're going to get rid of you, even if it's your family. That's why a lot of people feel under attack sometimes, because they're trying to be right. I heard an actual therapist say one time that, and not to me, it was a TV show, that if you want to be right, you're going to be single your whole life. You don't have to be right all the time. Is it anybody on here who struggles with that, who always wants to be right? Who always has to be right? So y'all talk to me real talk, like don't sugarcoat it. Because ultimately, isn't the goal for us to grow? Isn't the goal for us to become better? So why people become a cohesive unit over being corrected? They'll use that person who's trying to be right as the scapegoat when the tension starts to build in a group. And then they kind of instinctively understand that they need to project the tension onto like one person and they need to get rid of that. It's like if you have a bad sale, you're going to get rid of those bad sales. You're not going to keep the bad sales. Even if everybody understands that having those sales doesn't make you sick. It's just that they're bad, but they're not the kind that make you sick. I'm just coming up with stuff off the fly with that one. And so does that make sense though? Like if you're perceived as a threat, being right all the time is not realistic. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. If you feel like you always have to be right, you're going to be a very lonely person. I agree with that. But I will remember when I was watching a television show and this woman was having a hard time getting married. And she was like, well, sometimes I'm right and they don't want to listen to when I'm right. And they were here. And then the therapist was like, and how's that working for you? And it's not like, it's just like you don't pierce every wrongdoing? Are you a person who pierces every wrongdoing? Are you a person who, like, you're literally all the time trying to correct everybody? That would be such a horrible way to live. Now, I don't mean situations where it's like something that really is big, it's huge. It's putting your life at risk, or it's causing you a tremendous amount of anxiety and discomfort. Then I think the right thing is to address it if that is causing you major discomfort. But if you do address a situation, do you ever kind of have self-talk, or do you write down the pros and cons of if you have that conversation? Because can I say there's a part of the brain that does not distinguish between physical predator or someone who is challenging group norms? It's the amygdala. The amygdala doesn't know if you're being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger or you're being attacked by someone who says they're right, and you threatening the organizational structure that we have going here. That's why triangulation happens, and some people get labeled as being narcissistic when they're not. So I did a lot with narcissism and research on narcissism, but a lot of people can begin to get pegged with being narcissists because they're doing things like triangulation. Does anybody know what that means? Triangulation is like when you bring a third party in. Now, some people are narcissists. I mean, I'm not here to diagnose anybody, but that means that you bring a third party in just to be right. That means you bring a third party in just because you feel threatened. I never write down the pros and cons. I just think about it over and over and over. Yeah, so triangulation occurs when narcissists do this. They utilize this strategy to they bring another third party in. So that's like, real talk. Y'all seen Thin Line Between Love and Hate? Or no, Tua can play that game. Tua can play at that game with Vivica Fox. Okay, so real talk, both sexes do this, men and women, where if two people really love each other, have a disagreement, a big disagreement, they will bring a third party or a fourth, because they're going to try to make each other jealous. You know what I'm saying? Or they're going to try to hurt each other or get a reaction from each other. Okay, well, triangulation is a little bit different. From a narcissist perspective, triangulation is when they bring that third party to warp your reality. If that third party is being used in a manner not to necessarily use you as a scapegoat, but for them to be able to make you question your reality, that's called triangulation. That's different. Okay. So if you want to think about things in the old way of thinking, we're thinking, oh man, why are people doing this to me? You could start thinking about it like, man, is maybe what I'm doing threatening the structure, and they're protecting the structure, not necessarily each other. Now, I don't want y'all to ever talk yourself out of abuse, but we need to talk about this. Are you just trying to prove that you're right? Or is being right really irrelevant to the systematic structure? Like, do you really want to be right against your siblings and your family, and then you're alone? Now, if they're toxic and they literally cause you mental distress and hurt and harm, and you simply said, listen, that hurt me, and they don't want to acknowledge it and apologize, that's different. Then you're threatening the family structure because you're threatening to tell about the things in the closet just because you're fed up with your family, you don't like them, or your ex, or you're having a disagreement with someone. Are you threatening the family structure? Are you doing it because it really truly affected you? Now, I think, to be fair, If people triangulate against you simply because they want to hurt you, that's different. That's different than you're threatening the unit. Does that make sense? Everything ain't no threat. Every time somebody brings something to you, it's not a threat. But sometimes it is. Or am I making sense? Y'all talk to me in the chats. Because as I've had a business, there have been so many times that I myself have felt under attack. So I want to distinguish between being a chosen one, and chosen people, unfortunately, do go under a lot of attack. That's why they say it's lonely at the top. That's why you want to have a group of people who believe in what you believe in. Because you want to have somebody else who can come to the top and who can sit at the table with you and not feel offended at your success. Does that make sense? Put a 1 if it does. Put a 1 if it does. So my biggest thing is to always be transparent about where I am at what stage of life I'm in, because I don't have nothing to prove I'm almost going towards my 50s. So I don't have nothing to prove. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. Okay. And I've gotten to a point, like I used to be Smiley. They used to call me Smiley, and I used to be so sweet, and I never started stuff. But then it's like, it's only so many times you can take some nonsense from somebody until you start speaking up for yourself. Now, here's the test. Are they going to actively participate in that conversation, give you the ability to express things that hurt you, and listen and have conversation, versus are they going to ghost you, block you, shut you out, make you feel horrible? Because now we're borderline narcissistic. Question: are y'all able to admit when you're wrong? Are you able to admit when you have been wrong? Let me know in the chats. Let me know. Coach Yvonne, I saw you came up, but I don't know if you can come on. If y'all could come on, y'all can. I'll drop the link in. Are you able to admit when you're wrong, or is it something you struggle with? Is it something you struggle with, just admitting that, hey, I'm not perfect. I made a mistake. I apologize. I'm sorry I hurt you. Are you able to look at somebody and say, I am sorry, and mean it? I'm talking about really mean it. Like, I'm sorry that I hurt you. Do you see the link? I just dropped it in. It said YouTube. Oh, it's on there too. Yeah, I just dropped it in the chats, comments. Have you ever, you've done it many times. What does it feel like when you apologize to someone, you admit wrongdoing, and that person blocks you out? What does that feel like? You know? I just sent the link in. If y'all want to come up to the stage, go ahead and come up to the stage. I would love to have more people up if we can. I don't know what I'm pressing. And so one of you are okay, Latoya. Okay, it hurts, but you have to let go. You don't see the link. Y'all check the chats. I just pasted the link. Let me see. In the chats, I saw it come up on YouTube. Do y'all see the chats right down below? Let me know. It does hurt. I must say, being an empathetic person is different when, and I'm gonna talk about another aspect that makes it hurt more for me to personally Do y'all see the comments? It's there. Okay, good. Coach, let me know if you see it. I'm gonna also put it in side of school, so anybody who wants to come up on stage can from school. I'm gonna put it in. Well, maybe this thing is going slow. I just dropped the link. Look and see if y'all see it right in these comments. Yeah, so that's the thing about it. It does hurt when you feel like under attack, or it hurts when, especially if you go through something extreme in life. Hold on one second. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make sure y'all got the link. So come up if y'all can. Come up if y'all can. I dropped the invite. I'm going to also drop the invite and group me. Well, I don't know. It's running slow. Me trying to do two screens. I don't know. I think it's good dialogue that we should have. For whatever reason, welcome y'all. Come on in. So we're talking about something really important today. So let me Nabits. I'm trying to make sure I get the link. Oh, I have it in GroupMe. I have it in the GroupMe. Hold on. It's in the GroupMe, y'all. The invite link if you're in GroupMe. And I'm gonna drop it in school too. Y'all welcome. Come on in. Today we're talking about being under attack, feeling like no matter what you do, you're under attack. Have you ever felt like you was under attack, like two people was teaming up on you? If so, you're on the right call. We're talking about it, the human experience. I know we go into the program. We got a meeting in a few minutes. Hey, Coach, I'm going to bring you up. So let's talk about it, because that's something to me. I think we really, really need to. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I really want to work on self over time. You see the chat now, Coach? Okay, Coach Yvonne. Okay, Coach Felicia, can you? Let me see if I can hear you if you unmute.
Can you hear me? Okay.
How do you feel like you're able to accept if you made a mistake or if you're wrong, or is that something you struggle with?
Now I can. It was something that I struggled with a lot. And sometimes I guess depending on the situation, it's hard for me to like accept responsibility right away, because sometimes it take me a little while longer to like be like, okay, now you doing too much right now, like you need to apologize or whatever. Like sometimes I still try to be stubborn and be like, nah, I'm not gonna apologize. I'm not gonna admit that I'm wrong. And then I have to go back and be like, you know what? Let me just make this better because I'm the one who did something wrong. So it just depends sometimes. But now I feel like I could do it more because I didn't do it a lot. Like I would just be like, okay, well, whatever, it don't matter. And if they gonna be mad about it, they just gonna be mad about it. Whatever I did.
Yeah. That's the thing, and one of the things for me, I think, is I've had a recent health scare that it made me very sensitive to myself, to people around me, to what I can and cannot accept. Like I just can't accept a lot of stress. Um, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes the stress comes when you hold on to it instead of letting it go and releasing it. And I think that I'm okay with being wrong. I'm 100% okay with being wrong. I don't. One of the things y'all may hear me say often is that I don't want people to agree with me all the time, and I don't want. Are y'all? Do y'all ever find that? Y'all can unmute at any time. Do you ever find that it's challenging for you to admit? That's the question I'm asking. When you're wrong, have you found that challenging? Where are you with that in your life right now? Do you feel like you can say to someone, and be a big person? And I'm not saying being the bigger person, because I do not believe in pretending like we living in a fairy tale. Me personally, but I also know that everything don't require us to be so tell the truth all the time. I feel like you're going to lose a lot of friendships like that. You're going to lose a lot of relationships if you're always trying to be right. If you
Sometimes
just,
you can be too harsh. You know,
yeah,
the truth, sometimes it's going to hurt people's feelings. So sometimes it's just a little too harsh.
say it the way you say it, maybe the way it's
Right, the
said,
tone.
the tone. And interesting. I believe that. I believe it. And some of us have a little bit more baritone in our voice. Some of us have more strength in our voice. So I think in conviction, and some people are really good with words. And so they can be precise the way they communicate it. And I don't know about y'all, but how do y'all feel about it when people beat around the bush? And
I
if
don't
you
like.
don't, yeah.
I don't like it. Don't beat around the bush with me. But I do still feel like it is a way that you say things, because I feel like some people are like, oh well, I'm gonna tell you the truth anytime or whatever. But it's like, okay, but there's a way to tell people the truth. Like, you don't have to beat around the bush. You don't have to be sensitive about it, but at the same time, like, you just know what the situation is, right? And just recognize how you're saying it, how you're delivering it, because it's gonna come off differently for everybody, So
Do
yeah.
y'all think that there's a way to not beat around the bush, but also not be harsh, not just be right in somebody's face with it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah,
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 I think that's the part of honesty. It's just like leveling, at first just set the tone and then level for that harsh truth or for whatever you have to say.
mm-hmm,
Agree.
mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. You admit, Latoya, you said you admit when you're wrong. Do you all admit when you're wrong, or do you find it challenging? They say it's harder for women for some reason to admit. Is that true?
It's easier for me the more that I age.
Yeah, yeah. What age group are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 33.
33. Oh my God, a baby.
Yeah, I think it's harder for women to admit when they're wrong, just because I feel like we're just more emotional. So I think that the emotion, we don't want to admit that we're wrong, because we're like, oh, if I do that, then they might think this, and that, or whatever. And so it's better to just be like, oh, I'm not going to admit it, and I'm just going to let it like be under the rug or whatever. But yeah, the older that I got, the more I was like trying to work on relationships, but you can't work on relationships without admitting when you're wrong. So how do you work on that without saying, yeah, I'm wrong? You can't. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the situation. It does have to be a mutual conversation, though. It can't be one-sided.
Exactly. That's
Um, and that happens if, for example, if you're ghosted, how do you deal with that? Does that hurt when you know that you were right about something and somebody just completely shut you off? when you did nothing wrong? Has it, first of all, has that happened to anybody here? Have you ever been in a situation where someone cut you off when you know you did nothing to them?
I've had that happen a lot of times. Especially like in more of my female relationships with women, it's happened a lot. And it was one relationship that still to this day, I was just like trying to talk to her and find out like what happened, because I was like, I thought we were really close, you know, and things like that. And all I did was just check on her because she was in a domestic violence relationship. And, you know, we had talked about it before. And so I would check on her and stuff like that, but she like started pulling away. I wouldn't hear from her. And I didn't know if it was the relationship or like, or if it was her sickness or what, but it was like she just stopped talking to me. And I had reached out and I wouldn't hear back, you know. So when I did reach out and try to have a conversation with her, she was just like nonchalant about it. And so it was like, you know, that stuff hurts because like I was just trying to make sure you were okay. Like I still wanted to be your friend even after all that time. And it still was just like, okay. It took me a little while to like recover from that. But
so do y'all think that's a cop out? If somebody is trying to find out what happened in a friendship and a person chooses just to cut them off, do y'all feel like that's a cop out? That's like not being a responsible, emotionally mature adult?
In that situation, it's difficult because that person might just be emotionally overwhelmed from her relationship. And that's just a whole sticky situation because when I got divorced, all of the people that I thought I knew better than my husband, they all didn't check on me. And I know I was in that abusive relationship, so I figured someone would check on me. But you see, whenever you're a lighthouse, the ship's coming towards you, you know, you have to be a beacon instead of being one of those ships, or you're not going to get rescued. No one's going to come to your light.
Whoa. And that is so true. People say that often that especially with me, they're like, when I look at you, I see a person who has it all together. You're strong. I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm a wreck. Like I feel at times I'm human. I want the same, you know, type of reception when I need a friend, when I need a shoulder that I've given in the past. And it's easy for you to be that strong one that people listen to or that people dump on. They dump all that on you. But then when it's like time where it's like, oh my God, I am about, I get it. Get a therapist. If you just have to, get a therapist. I really believe in it at some point. But I think I like what you said, Marley, that's maybe people were, say that again, emotionally overwhelmed. Can you expand on what you mean by that?
With a domestic relationship, sometimes you are just at your wit's end. You can't pick up the phone or you can't reach out because you're emotionally drained. You can't have that conversation then just because it's happening in the moment. It's just, you know, you're dealing with it, you're in it. And sometimes it's not being ghosted. I mean, if she came back, then maybe she was working some stuff out, but I know that when you're in the midst of it, sometimes it's hard to get back to people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now that I've experienced. I have had to like cut everybody off. I'm talking about, and everybody was like, what the heck? I mean, everybody. And it wasn't anything personal. It was just that I was going through something and it was too much. So I can understand it to where it's like I'm dealing with so many things that, I can't have this conversation. It's not that I'm not emotionally mature. This is what I'm hearing, Marley. It's not that I'm not emotionally immature. It's just that I have so much going on in my life that I can't handle that. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, it's your capacity.
Whoa, that's deep.
in your
Yes,
container. You have a container, and when your container is full, you're at max capacity. And sometimes you're just at max capacity.
sometimes you're at max capacity. Wow, did y'all feel that? Like maybe it's just not that the individual is angry with you. Maybe they have no judgment towards you, your current situation, Latoya. Maybe they simply just can't take anymore. Maybe their container is full. Maybe that one conversation could be the very thing that causes them to have a mental meltdown. Sometimes I guess we have to look at it from the perspective of the person on the opposite end, because just like if we're ready to have that conversation, we're at a space in our life where I need to have this conversation, but we didn't check in to see, because we would check in when I talk. We didn't just go in cold. I mean, not the good special needs teachers. You don't just go in cold, right? So you're gonna check in to see if it's even safe to have that conversation. Mm. Because then maybe, okay, so if you go in from your angle and you just ask somebody something cold without checking in, is that a no-no? Because doing that really truly may be too much. Maybe you approach that individual at a time in their life when they couldn't do it. And they don't even have the capacity to tell you they can't do it. So, Coach, what do you think about that? Maybe she just had a lot going on, or what do
I
you
don't
think?
know. It was over a year, so I don't know. And she wasn't with her anymore. So
Mm-hmm. But
I
what if
just
what I think, go ahead.
I don't know, the way that she responded, like she just responded like whatever. So I kind of feel like I don't know if it was her completely. It may have been the girl that may have said something to her to make her not want to talk to me.
Mhm.
But it just didn't seem right. But at the same time, it's like she didn't care to fix it. So
I
A
think
year
too,
is a
sometimes,
long time.
yeah. But also, I think sometimes, and this is what I tend to do by me being a person who spends a lot of time alone, I have to catch myself with not assuming or making assumptions that I know what took place on the opposite side of the wall. Does that make sense? Like
yeah.
I'm preaching to the choir even now. It's like you don't know if that's what happened.
Right. And I didn't ask her. I just asked her like, "Hey, what happened? Like, are you okay?" I actually was genuinely concerned about her.
Yeah.
And I guess because of shit. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, that hurts.
Oh, it was all the stuff that we talked about. Like I was in an abusive relationship too. So I understand like the stuff that she was going through. And I didn't want anything to happen to her because we had built such a relationship that like she was like the closest person I had to me. And it just felt like after constantly losing relationships, I just was like, I just wanted to understand what happened. And I don't know what happened. And so it just felt like I was just pushed aside again. But I didn't want to. I wanted it to work out between us. Like, so I think that's why I'm just like right now I'm just frustrated because it's like I still don't even know what happened. And it's like I haven't heard from her since. Like after the last time when I tried to reach out and just kind of find out what happened because I wanted to make our friendship work. And then it was just like I think she blocked me or something. And it was just like I just don't understand what happened. And I think I
Sometimes that comes from the abusive partner too. If they find out that someone is trying to help them, it becomes an issue. And if they said my ex, he took my phone and I couldn't respond, and we no longer hung out with these people, and
yeah.
it wasn't their fault at all. It
And
had nothing to do with them.
you know, and I think I didn't think about that part because when I was in my situation, like he took my phone and like threw it on the ground, so I didn't have any connect, but nobody knew what I was going through at the time because I didn't tell anyone. So I mean, I get it. I just think my feelings were just more hurt more than anything because of everything that happened, you know. And it was just like I just thought that we would have just still been friends and everything. And so like I don't know what happened to her. I tried to find her on social media. I couldn't find her anymore. So I don't know. I think my biggest fear is that either her illness or something happens to her, and I have no way of getting in contact with her because I was gonna try again, but I couldn't find her anywhere. So I'm not mad. I think I was trying not to cry as I was talking about it, but
it's okay. That's a part of the healing process, so there's nothing wrong with that. I can get that it could be very heavy. Even for me, having gone through, Coach, you are aware, very few people are aware of my health scare back in November.
yeah,
So I'm an individual who right now I'm really sensitive to people I allow in my circle. And I don't allow everybody in. And there are things that I feel like I wanted to address in this lifetime because no moment is promised. I shared a young couple who is going viral on social media today. They started showing up on my timeline yesterday or the day before, and they had just gotten married, newlywed, very young. And the young lady was in a really bad car accident and had severe damage over her body. Her brain, she has damage. Her memory loss is is really bad. And her husband has been with her and stayed by her side throughout this whole thing. Because of my personal health scare, it ails me to see where we are as a whole as humans. I think social media was supposed to bring us together, but at times it pulls us further apart because it points out things that we maybe never would have seen or noticed. And it can cause a lot of tension in relationships. And I bring that up because I personally think that anytime, and what I've been discussing here is the threat to the whole. If you've ever felt like you're under attack by more than one person, it's because they feel like you're threatening their structure. Even if it's a family, if it's two business partners and they already have this thing going with a business, and you cannot even mean it as a threat, but if they consider it as a threat based on human psychology, you're just something that they're going to get rid of. It's not about being right. A lot of people get focused on it being right, but the scapegoat is going to be the person who is threatening the structure. If it's a church structure, for example, and somebody coming in threatening the pastor to tell he doing this, he doing that, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get rid of and remove that person who is creating the discomfort. This is why whistleblowers get fired. This is why the honest child is called the black sheep or the problem child. It's because they're threatening the entire structure, the organizational structure. And we have organizational structures in everything we do. So it's crazy, but we have to, I think, kind of find some kind of balance for ourselves. This is what helps me, is trying to understand the human experience over just Sonia's experience. Because if you try me these days, I ain't that little quiet, smiling girl. If you try with me, I'm gonna take it to hell. Because you're gonna get off my back. Because I got to a point where I got tired of people doing me any kind of way. Have y'all ever got to that point where it's like, I'm tired of being the pushover? I'm tired of being a person that everybody feels like they can punch, and I'm just not gonna say anything. They just used to that smiling Sonia who just go on about her business and live her happy life. And they look at me like she's great, she's perfect, but inside that thing is tearing me up just because we didn't have basic conversation. And a lot of people aren't going to give you closure because you're a threat to the structure. Does the structure help people to understand more about this idea? Let me know in the chat, y'all. Just understanding that, and we had a lot of great conversation, even in what people are able to take. You don't know what a person is going through in their life at that moment, because I know back in November of last year, nobody knew what I was going through. And then I reached out, but when I reached out, I was reaching out, extending an olive branch to say, man, I just need to be around people who gonna make me smile. I just need to be around people who bring me light and joy. And they're looking at it from a different angle. You don't know what they're thinking, like, what are they here for? When it could be just because I've went through a really hard time and I just want to be around people who make me happy. And just hearing what Coach was saying earlier, she was in a position where she wanted to talk, but that other party wasn't there. You know, one of the things, I think there are a lot of people who have soulmates on this planet. I believe that. And two, I believe that that you can experience heaven on earth. My former teacher, who's no longer with us, he said that one time, a man doesn't know God until he gives in to love. To really just in order to give in to love, you got to let go. You know what I'm saying? You got to really let go and surrender to love. And for some people who, like, I'm a middle child, people who are middle children, they find it challenging to relinquish that. You see what I'm saying? So
I'm a middle child, so I understand.
You do?
I was about to say that too, because I am too.
I understand you 100%. My goodness, everything you saying, I understand.
That
hell, and I can't be around negative people because I've blocked my whole family. I don't have no family, just my kids.
Girl.
Because family wasn't family. Family was judging me, and family wasn't there when I lost everything and was homeless and had to rebuild my life from scratch. I'm a homeowner. 5 beds, 3 baths, 3,000 square feet house. But a few years ago, I was homeless in shelters with my 6 kids, with no support, no family. When I got the house, they laughed at me like, ha, 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 she not going to be in there long. So I relate to what you guys are saying. And that's why I stay to myself, because people have bad energy. And I love this community.
I know, it's crazy because that is a part of it. Being a middle child can, some, not all, can be quite traumatic, and I've experienced that. And some people have unhealed wounds. And there's nothing wrong with therapy to get what you really want in life, to get that love you really want, to get that peace you really want.
Yep.
Sometimes we got to break down and just say, I need help. I can't do it by myself. I can't. I've tried. I've gone to the church. I've done it all. I need help. And sometimes it's okay to admit that.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been for the years for like 2 years straight. So it was good for me because I lost my mom and I lost my mom, my dad, my husband. The thing is, losing
Yeah.
my mom was a big blow. She was young, she was healthy, and it was unexpected. So that one was the one that hurt me the most. And we were so close. So I've been to therapy. I had to because I couldn't accept her not being here, for the longest. And then the therapy did help me understand, okay, we all have a time that God is going to call us home. And I'm okay with it. Of course, you will never be 100% about something like that, but at least I'm able to move forward. Because I was in a dark space for a long, long time. So therapy does work. If you work it, it does work.
If you work it. This has been a very, very thought-provoking. I'm so happy that you all were able to make it on the call. Hopefully somebody was enlightened in some way on this call today. If it is only learning that maybe there are different ways to think about things, maybe it's okay to reach out for help, which I myself did during the time when I was going through depression in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I reached out. And when I talked to the person, the counselor at the church, they was like, well, you know a lot and stuff like that. You are fine. And no, I was literally crumbling into a million pieces. I felt like I was going to combust. So no, sometimes we're not fine and we have to reach out for help. But sometimes we got to reach out to experts because we can't put that weight on everyday people in our lives, because maybe they're dealing with a lot of things too. So I'm just thinking about all that. Delilah, I 100% understand where you said that when you lost everything, you had nobody there, no family, no nothing. I know what that's like because after I went through all that depression, I went through a lot of that. When I started my business, I went through the most, and I could not believe some of the stuff that I was dealing with with my family. So I tried to reach out to people who I knew had started businesses, and it was like, you should know what it's like because you've gone through it, but they didn't even want to be there. And I was like, so I'm on my own. I'm on my own. So I had to fight my way out of depression. I had to fight my way out of feeling completely lost, abandoned, and fight my way to having a stable, consistent income in my business. I had to fight. So I want y'all to know you're a part of a family with someone who understands that if you go through things, that you still can fight your way out of this. I want y'all to have the faith, and I want y'all to be willing to go the mile that other people won't go to get what it is you say you want. So we have a meeting in the Academy 6 AI. It's starting now. That should be lit up in the top of the program. So I will see you all over there. And I really appreciate you all for stopping by and taking out your time. Thank you so much for Coach Yvonne, Coach Felicia, Delilah, and Marley for coming up on the stage. I really appreciate you all. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, you all, it's good to have these tough conversations because at the end of the day, guess what? We have got to understand one thing. We're all human and we're all having a human experience. Nobody's perfect and nobody knows it all. But if we all are dedicated to trying to become a better version of ourselves, we can do it.
Look at me now. Look at me now. You counted me out. Yeah. You threw stones in my window pane. Tried to make me wear your pain. counting me out, call my name in vain. But I got power in these veins. Yeah. Every tear became a river, every scar made me bigger. I was down but not defeated. Now my soul cannot be weak. Yeah. You thought you'd break me, take me out, but look who's standing taller now. I found my fire, I found my shout. You thought you'd break me, look at me now. You break me, look at me now. Look at me now. Came from the ashes, built from the pain. Walked through the fire, danced in the rain. Tried to shut me down, still I remain. Pressure made diamonds, remember the name. You was talking like the end was near. Now I'm front row, crystal clear. What broke me then brought